Welcome children. Today we start with chapter 6 of geography for standard 9th, that is population, and this is part 1 of the lesson. What is population? Population is the total number of persons in a political or geographical area at a particular time. This chapter deals with human population, which is an important topic in the world, and it is estimated that the world has about 753 crore people right now, and out of this 130 crores are living in India. So India is the most populous country in the world, the first one being China. Now India has a huge number of people, and it is both good news and bad news for the country. It is good news in the sense that we have a large labor force which can improve our economy rapidly. On the other hand, it is not good for the country because we are running out of resources. So in this chapter, we will learn about the impacts of population growth, how it is affecting our society, and what are the different aspects of it. Children, can you imagine a world without human beings, world without population? Who would have utilized the resources and created social and cultural environment? Yes, it's the people. So people are the ultimate resource. They make and use resources and are themselves a resource with varying quality. Coal is just a piece of rock until people were able to invent technology to obtain it and make it a resource. Now natural events like flood or a tsunami becomes a disaster only when they affect a crowded village or a town. Okay, so population is very important, and we must understand their numbers, their distribution, their growth and characteristics and qualities that provide the basic background for the understanding and appreciating all aspects of the environment. So people or population are the most valuable resource of a country. They are essential to develop and nurture the economy and society, and they make useful and essential resources and also ensure their proper utilization. Now human beings are the producers and consumers of Earth's resources. Therefore, it is very important to know how many people are there in a country, where do they live, and how and why their numbers are increasing, and what are their characteristics. Okay, you see, the people are so important for a country. They are the ultimate resource. The people make and use resources and are themselves are resources of varying quality. So once again children, I'll tell you, human beings are producers and consumers of Earth's resources. So they are the ultimate resource, and that is why they are so valuable and important for a country. So as I told you, human beings are the producers and consumers of the Earth's resources, and it is the people who are the ultimate resource, and they are the ones who have made the machines, the bulbs, the technology that we are using today. Right from a pen to an aircraft has been created by humans. So to study about the humans becomes very important. Now we just cannot imagine a country or the world without humans, and that is the need to understand and study about population. Now to understand about the population, there are three questions that we need to know the answers to. First one is the population size and distribution. Second is population growth and the processes of population change. And the third question is the characteristics or the qualities of the population. Now let us understand population size and distribution. So we will see how many people are there and where are they located. Now let us look at this chart and see the population data which was recorded in 2001, and in 2001 the population of India was 1000 millions. By 2018 it was 1300 millions. So we can see the growth of population. Now, according to the 2001 population data, India comprised of 16.7% of the population of the world. Okay, the rest of the world had 83.3% of the population, and in India we comprised it of 16.7%. Now children, here is a pie chart. You can see how unevenly our population is distributed. Okay, you can see almost half of our population lives in these 5 states. Which are the 5 states? Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Bihar, West Bengal and Andhra Pradesh. And you can see Uttar Pradesh, which is the most populous state, has about population size of 199 million. Okay, and which accounts for 16% of the country's population. So you can see Maharashtra is 9, Bihar is 8, West Bengal is 7, Andhra is also 7. So, and you can see the other states account for the other half. And the Himalayan state like Sikkim has a population with just 0.6 million. Lakshadweep has only 64,429 people. Okay, and Rajasthan, which is one of the biggest state in terms of area, has only 5.5% of the total population. Why? Because it's a deserted region. So you see how unevenly India's population is distributed. Children, next we must understand population density. Now, what is population density? Is the number of people living in each unit of area. Now, so let's take for example, there is a 1 kilometer of land from A to B. How many people are living in this 1 kilometer of land is called as population density. Okay. How do we calculate population density? We calculate its total population that we can get to know about from the census, and upon divided by total land area that we can get from the local municipal body. Okay, so total population divided by total land area, we get population density. Now children, the population density according to 2001 census, it was 324 persons per square kilometer, and by 2011 census it has increased to 382 persons per square kilometer. Now children, as I mentioned that there is uneven distribution of population density in India. Some states are heavily populated whereas others are sparsely populated. Let us look into the reasons behind this. Now let us study 3 situations in case of population density. One you can see is low population density, which means it has less than 250 persons per square kilometer. Then we have a more moderate population density, which is about 250 to 500 persons per square kilometer. And then high population density, which has 500 and above persons per square kilometer. So let us study these 3 situations: low, moderate and high population density. Now let us see the reasons for a low population density. It could be a rugged terrain, which means the highs and lows. It could be a hill, mountain. Okay, climate could be unfavorable. Then moderate density, we can see less fertile soil, rocky land and low rainfall. And places which has high density, it has flat land, fertile soil, heavy rainfall. So maximum people live here in this area where there is fertile soil, flat land and lots of water and rainfall. Okay. Now let's proceed further to the next question: population growth and processes of population change. Now children, population is a dynamic phenomena. That means it's constantly changing. The numbers, the distribution, the composition of the population are constantly changing. And this is the influence of the interaction of 3 processes, namely birth, death and migration. Now children, this data shows the population growth and change of population in India. You can see starting from 1951 we had only 361 millions. By 2001 it became 1028 millions. Okay, so you see change in population occurs due to the birth rate, due to the death rate, and due to migration. Children, now let us understand what is population growth. Now, population growth refers to the change of population. How many new people have been added into the country? How many people have left the country during a specific period of time, say during the last 10 years. So, such a change is called as population growth. Okay, so when we see how many have come in and how many have left, this change in the size of population is called as population growth. Now children, there are two ways to express this population change. Okay, one you can see in absolute numbers, and the second is in terms of percentage per year. Okay, so one is we can express by absolute numbers and the second is by percentage change. Now children, as I told you, there are two ways to express the change in population. One is by absolute numbers. Now for example, you can see this, I have given you an example. In 1991 the population was 1 lakh and in 2001 it was 1,10,000. So what do? We minus 1,10,000 by 1 lakh, and what do we get? What is the answer? Yes, it is 10,000. So the change in population has been 10,000. So this is by expressing in absolute numbers. Now the next method is percentage change. Okay, so you can see the same way I have done it. You can see the example is given here. I first minus 1,10,000 by 1 lakh divided by 1 lakh into 100. So what is the answer I get is 1%. So the change of population has been 1%. This is expressed in percentage. Now this table clearly makes you understand what is the absolute number and expressed in percentage. So when it is expressed in percentage, we call it as annual growth rate. Now this means, if you can see, 1991 it was 2%. What does that mean? That means for every 100 people we can say their increase of 2%. Okay, the increase of 2% for every 100%. Okay, and this, when it's expressed in percentage, is called as 2%, which is referred to as annual growth rate. So children, if you see a declining trend of the annual growth rate, it is considered to be a positive indicator. Now children, let us understand the reasons for population change or the processes of population change. Now, as I had earlier mentioned, the three main processes of population change, or the main reasons for population change, are birth rate, death rate and migration. Now birth rate, what is birth rate? Number of live births per 1,000 persons in a year. All over the world, the governments calculated the amount of children that are born, okay, per 1,000 people, among 1,000 people, how many children were born in a year. Now you see here, I have underlined it in red, live births. Now there are children who are born, all do not live, some die. So we are talking of only living babies who are surviving. Okay, how many were born per 1,000 persons in a year is called as birth rate. It is expressed in percentage. How many babies were born per 1,000 people in a year is called as birth rate. Now what is death rate? It's similar. The number of deaths per 1,000 persons in a year is called as death rate. Now children, all over the world we are seeing that the death rate is decreasing. Okay, why? Because of good medicines and proper medical facilities, we see death rate is decreasing. Okay. Now children, when we subtract birth rate by the death rate, how many people born and how many died, we get the natural increase of population. Okay. Now next reason for population change is migration. What is migration? Movement of people from say rural to urban, or from urban to international movement. So this is called as migration. Why do they move? Maybe for job opportunities, for medical facilities. There is movement of people. Here we see there is no change in the population of the country, but there may be a change in that area because some people are moving out. So in one area it will become less, but the other area it will increase. So you see, children, migration can be internal, that is within the country. So population size, there won't be no change, but yes, there will be in the population distribution there will be a change. So one area will have less population, the other area will have a more population. So you can see here it is within the country. This is migration. Okay, mainly it is done from the rural to the urban areas within the country. And migration can be international, going out of India to some other country. That is called as international migration. Okay. Now let us understand the next factor of population, that is age composition. Now what is age composition? Age composition of a population refers to the number of people in different age groups like young, middle age, old people, okay, living in a country. This is the number of people in different age groups living in a country. Now for example, let me take you to the stages of a man's life. Now in the first stage, when the child is young, what are the requirements a child needs? Yes, he requires basic food so that his health is proper. Then he requires education. He needs to go to a proper university to really educate himself. Okay, and then in the next stage we see he needs to get a job, he gets married. Okay, he needs to have a proper income for the family. His family grows, he has children. And in the third stage they become old. So what are the needs of an old people? Yes, they require medical care, medicines, some pension schemes. Okay, all that is required for the old age. Okay, so these are the three stages of a man's life. Now how does a country know which age group the population belongs to? So you see, the governments have divided them into three categories. Category 1, children below 15 years. Category 2, working age between 15 to 59 years because they retire in 60. Then in category 3 is aged above 59 years. So why is it necessary that the government should know about the age composition? Because if they know about the age composition, they can plan accordingly. So if the country knows how many children are below 15, the government can plan accordingly because they are economically unprotected. They are not earning, but they require certain things. What do they require? Proper food, proper education, proper medical facilities, proper universities for them to study and grow. Okay, so the government plans accordingly. Okay, these many children require so many universities in our country, and they start working on it. Now in the category 2, if the government knows that these many percentage are in the working age, they are productive, they are earning money. So what is the requirement? The government has to make more jobs available for them, has to have more offices for them so that they can earn a living and help the young and the old. Now the third category is above 59 years. They are normally retired, they are unproductive. Some may be earning, they may be productive also. So what does the government do to them? Yes, they must have some social service schemes, some pension schemes for them, social security for them, so that they can live properly. Now this is the age structure of India. You can see the India's age composition. You can see adults are 58.7%, and the blue are the aged. Okay, so 58.7 is half are working classes. Aged, which are old in blue, you can see are 6.9%, and children are 34.4%. So you can see we have a lot of adults who are productive. The next important factor of population is sex ratio. Now, what is sex ratio? Yes, it is defined as the number of females per thousand males in the population. Now, it is very important for a country to know how many females and males are there in a country. And we have seen in our country there are more males than females. Okay, so what the government has to plan is to now save the girl child so that there is an equality between males and females. It should almost be similar. If there are 100 males, there should be almost 100 females also in a country to maintain that equality. So this chart really explains the sex ratio. You can see per thousand males in 1981 it was 962, and then you can see again a decrease in 1991 it was only 945, and 2001 it is only 927. So you can see people do not want the girl child, they must. Okay, so now we have to increase, almost bring it up to 1000. So this is what we call as sex ratio, number of females per thousand males in the population. Now, seeing this data, the government has to plan to bring about equality, and so that we have the same number of males and females in our country. Now children, did you know that Kerala has a sex ratio of 1058 females per thousand males? So in Kerala there are more females than males. Pondicherry has 1001 females for every 1000 males, while Delhi has only 821 females per thousand, and Haryana has just 861. So now the government is, when it collects this data, it tries to see and brings about schemes to save the girl child. Children, with this we conclude part 1 of this chapter, and very soon I'll be coming up with the second part. Till then, do view and subscribe. Thank you.